Alright, so today we've got what could be a short video, it could be a long video. I guess I'll have no idea until I stop talking. There isn't much I want to go over today, not much I want to talk about, but mainly I want to hear from you all and just give you my views on a few things. One thing I want to talk about is the idea that year 4 is terrible and is the worst year yet, and the other has to do with toxicity and For Honor and just the word toxic. I watched a video the other day by a newer YouTuber who claimed that For Honor truly sucks, where they went over why they believe the game is flawed to its core and how it sucks, so on and so on. But something else caught my attention from that video, and it was how the creator talked about toxicity in this game. Then I saw about 10 comments on my last post talking about how For Honor is overly toxic. So yeah, that's what I want to go over today. An update on the Highlander situation. I'm rep 5 now. I'd be a bit further along, but the orders we've gotten recently have not been on my side. There's been the Vanguard order, Knight's order, Samurai order. Today there was another batch of Vanguard and Samurai orders, everything but Viking and Hybrid orders. And then of course there's the orders that you can only complete in player versus AI nowadays, like Tribute orders, which at this point they should just take out of the rotation and replace with more broad orders. It's tough to find a breach match nowadays for me, if I'm going to be honest with you, so it's pretty tough to do those in PvP. Anyways, if you do watch these videos regularly, I'd really appreciate it if you sub to the channel, as it really helps me out. You guys have been pretty supportive as of late, and it's looking like I have to play Highlander and then Shinobi back to back at this rate. Now that has been said, let's not waste any more time and get right into it. Alright, let me start off with this whole idea that this has been the worst year of For Honor yet. Honestly, is that even a fair statement? If things were normal, we'd be well on our way to the new season in Hero, but obviously things are not normal like anywhere, so we just have to be patient and wait for the new stuff to drop next month. It's really not that far away anymore. The year isn't even over yet. Sure, if everything gets pushed back as a whole, that sort of sucks, but no one could have saw this coming, and I can't really hold that against Ubi. I'll admit that For Honor has gotten pretty dry as of late without anything happening. At least the thing they're doing with the events is something, although I haven't found a single game of Hyperduel. Now, if we look at the season and try to ignore its length and next season's delay and just look at what it released with, of course it's not the strongest season. I'm not sure where I'd rank it on my list of seasons yet because I haven't really thought about it. I'm not sure if it will place too high, mainly because it didn't release with enough for me to be really excited over like other seasons. And as I've said plenty of times, I like new stuff, specifically new heroes. Now, I do have high hopes for next season. I'm looking forward to see how this story they're trying to tell progresses, and I want to know where this whole light versus dark thing goes and how this piece is going to end. And then of course, how is a new hero going to fit into this story, and of course, you know, how they look and play. Last year with the year 3 heroes, we had a lot more to work with before they released because they showed off all the heroes' weapons beforehand, so we had a rough idea as to what to expect, even though I doubt anyone expected the heroes we got, but at least we got to speculate. This season, we don't know anything. Ubi's been very tight-lipped. Anyways, back to the season. I think my favorite part of this season was the testing grounds. That has been the highlight of this season for me so far, as that really introduced a lot of change, and some players enjoyed it so much that they can't even enjoy this game in its current state anymore because they feel that version of the game is just so much better. I had fun with it. I'm really looking forward to it, and I know I'm not alone in wanting to know what's going on with it. You know, what are the next steps? How are we going to move forward? How much longer are we going to be playing this slower version of For Honor? There are features from the testing grounds that I really want to see and use again as soon as possible, specifically the stamina changes. Being able to attack much more often was something I enjoyed, and ever since those changes, I noticed how often I'm out of stamina. I like the changes to damage and how attacks were shown as well, so I guess you can consider that a part of this season, which definitely makes it a better season than some others. Now on to toxicity. I think it's pretty hard to have a conversation about For Honor with someone who plays all the time without eventually getting to the word toxic, whether the community itself is toxic or the game itself promotes toxicity. And by that, I mean, does the game enable players to be toxic with what they can do in game? I mean, yeah, you'll run into toxic players while playing this game. You'll run into toxic players while playing just about anything online that has you face off against other players. Hell, you can even run into toxic people while playing a pretty easy cooperative game. But I wonder why this game is seen as more toxic than others by some people. Is it the nature of the game? You know, the whole idea of this sort of combat? Maybe it's just the way some people see toxicity. If I get into a fight with someone who's playing in a way that I don't like, or their connection is so out of whack that they shouldn't be able to connect to a server, and I happen to get them in a 1v1 and use my longest finisher, is that toxic? Or if I see someone and use a combat emote or just emote in general, is that toxic? Or does it become toxic once I start spamming an emote? I honestly don't care about any of that, probably because I've been playing this game for so long, and for me to believe someone is being truly toxic is if they're going out of their way to BM or just being hostile in chat. I know that there are some really obvious cases, like if someone jumps on you while you're low health after finishing a fight, using their longest finisher, spams good fight sorry wow, drops the horn on your body 20 times, then calls you trash in chat, or sends you a message on Xbox or PlayStation telling you that you should have been abandoned at birth because you mistimed a single parry. Maybe that happens a lot more than I think it does, so I guess I'll just have to ask you all, how often does that sort of thing happen to you? Also, what do you consider to be toxic, and do you believe that this game is more toxic than other games? I honestly wonder how many people believe that this game is truly toxic, and if this perceived toxicity is causing them to leave the game or just not want to play anymore. And if there are a lot of people who feel the game is too toxic and have let UB know about it directly. I also wonder if UB has ever thought about ways to limit said toxicity or give players tools to try and hide what they deem as toxic. And I really can't think of anything else that UB could do to help relieve these players. If someone is being really annoying in chat, you could always report them, but no one knows if that really does anything at all. Plus, you can already disable the chat if need be. You can also turn off local effects if they bother you or you just want a simpler game. But I mean, what else could they do? You can't turn off someone else's emotes, or you can't disable finishers. You can't block players or anything like that, because that would actually be a total mess. But some things I just don't consider toxic at all. I don't think you can call ganking toxic unless you're going out of your way to go after someone or just bother someone or make their time worse. For example, if you're playing with a group of friends and you're going to run, say, double scent or something, and you just chase after one or two players, trying to pin and knock them down all game while BMing in chat. That's toxic ganking. But doing a shaman gank or something like that to just quickly dispatch of your opponent to move on with the game or get them out of a fight is not toxic. That's actually just playing the game. If a Shigoki grabs someone and their opponent waits to wail on them, that's not toxic. Even just hopping in on a 2v1 isn't toxic, or even deathballing. I'd rather my opponents not hop into a 2v1 to make it a 3v1 or go do something else, but it's not toxic. Just because it's not an honorable 1v1 or a fair and square fight in a 4v4 game mode doesn't make it toxic. I've never really understood that mindset. The creator of the video that I talked about earlier also mentioned that ledging and environmentals are toxic, you know, camping ledges and whatnot. Really quick, if someone is camping a ledge or sitting on that bridge on High Fort and you feel as though they're going to go out of their way to try and ledge you, or feel like you can't get past them, or know that you're going to die, you should probably go the other way instead of trying to sprint or roll past them. It's much faster than dying and waiting to respawn, and you will avoid feeding them. Anyways, ledging again isn't toxic. I know that I've talked about this before, but at the end of the day, it's really just a part of the game. I know that no one likes being ledged or spiked, it can feel cheesy, but as long as they're in the game, they're going to be used. The whole honorable thing does not matter unless it matters to you. If someone doesn't follow your honor rules, it doesn't make them toxic at all. Anyways, that's all I've got for this video. I just wanted to talk about a few things really fast. As I said, it is dry times right now. Sure, the throwback events are happening, but not much of anything else is going on. And I mean, we can't really put that on anyone. And by anything else, I mean things like hero changes, map changes, fight changes, things like that. We haven't even really heard of any of that stuff, which is a shame, but oh well, it is what it is. Anyways, I do want to hear what you guys think, so be sure to talk to me down in the comments about anything we talked about in this video. And as always, if you like the video, feel free to leave a like and sub if you're new, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.